Morning all, how are we doing? Guys Modelling channel. So what we're doing here is this is just a quick video just to show you that I've got some of this tinfoil, garden tinfoil from a gardening shop, flatten it out, cut a thin strip off, and basically what we're doing is we're putting the thin canopy strip in to the canopy. So basically I've lined it up, so I need to cut it off roughly about there. So that's where it is, flattened off a cotton bud. So I've already done down there, as you can see. And then what we do is we make sure that it's definitely in line. Shit. So that's where it's going there. Up that strip there. And then it needs to be stopped. About there. It's not a very good thing. This is better, but and there you are. There's your tin strip, and then you can just make sure it's ironed out. Like that. Oh. And there you are. There's your ejector strip. And it was all made out of the tinfoil from the gardens. Right. I'm just going to bring you up to date where we are with it and just resolve a couple of issues which have been brought to my attention. And we'll have a look just to see what the score is. So without further ado, right, I'm going to use this as a guide. God, look, there's some weather damage. I thought it was sat under the books. Right. Okay, so this is where we're at with her. Yeah. So we've got her all painted now. The wings are on. The engines are in. Now the first thing was Nigel at Nigel's modelling bench. Yeah, Nigel's modelling bench. Now Nigel said something about the engines and the nose. This is the only time I've kind of heard or had a look. So with the engines, if you look at this picture here, right, the distance between the beginning of the engine and where the fan starts, so it's quite a bit of depth there. You don't really get that with this. So it's why am I using a paintbrush? Where did that stick go I had? Anyway. Okay, everything's bloody dry on me this morning. There it is, there, look, right underneath my nose. Anyway, so yeah, so you don't get much in the way of depth there compared to what that is there. right? So, yeah, the fans are here, and according to that, the fans should be about here. So it should have a bit more depth in here. How you would cure that, I don't know, because you'd have to cut all this, what goes on inside here, you'd have to chop it all back. Personally, years ago I used to do it. Now I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? It's just too much fiddling and farsing around, and in the end you'll get bored if you put it down and never touch it again because you've made so much of a mess of it. So that was the first issue. So yeah, Nigel, you're right. There is an issue there with the depth of the cones in the engine. I didn't think there was anything. Well, not that I'd been told anything until you mentioned it. So yeah, there's the first thing. Now the second thing, and if you want to have a look at engines, boink, there we go. So basically, there's the engine there, and you get this in the kit and that. You don't get any open engine. That's what you get, is that, the cone. So, but here, they don't look as far back. So, on that picture, when you compare it to the kit, it looks about right. And bearing in mind, that's not a C, that's an A. Now they were, and as far as I know, what were they, CFM 56 engines? They were the same engines that were carried on the Embraer jets that Lufthansa used to operate. So there's the engine there, with all its covers taken off. And as you can see, it's quite shallow, but it's where it gets slotted into the disc, the engine nozzle itself. But there, it doesn't look as deep. It actually looks a lot shallower than the one on the front, but can be deceptive. So that's the first thing. So that's the engines. But do you know what? I think every single A10 has had that problem. So we'll soon see what Great Wall I'll be coming out with. Now, the next one, yeah, don't know why, I just feel lethargic this morning, tired. The next one was the nose that Nigel pointed out. Now, that's a C there. So if you was to, I haven't got one of those. I have. I was going to say I have got a, what do you call it? Depending on where it is. Oh, it's here. Not an easel as such, but a weasel. Just work out how you get it open. Go on. There we go. Right, so move this out of the way, put this in. Right, maybe this might be a bit better for having a look at it. Right, so let's have a nose here. So you got that nose, and you look at that nose. It's not the best of light, but you look at that picture. I mean, it's pretty on the ball. I wouldn't have said. I mean, the worst nose I think for one of these was was it? The Taglieri kit was too boxy. The Hobby Boss kit I've never had, I don't think. Although my mate keeps plugging the Hobby Boss kit. Because he even said to me last night, when I was saying about how good this one is, what about the Hobby Boss kit? Don't know, I've got one. Probably won't ever get one either. But I mean, that's the two pictures we got really of the nose. And as you can see, just by looking at that, that's not a bad representative of it. So I'd say there's not really, maybe shave a little bit off that sharp edge to make it a bit rounder. But other than that, really, there's not a lot in it. Not a lot at all. So put that over there. So there we are, before we damage anything. As I say, last thing I want is to smash this up. So that's where we've got with it. So I've just got to paint the fuel panel black and the little fuel cap, filler cap. That's come undone. That's been knocked, look, where I've just knocked it. Fuck's sake. Still, never mind. We can sort that out in a minute. And I suppose the next thing is to put some decals on it and see where we end up. But at the front there, did some of the gun smoke marks, and then I done it, and then I thought, hang on a minute, what if I want to put a set of teeth there, or a wall rock or something? Pratt. So there we go. But all in all, the update is this is where we're at, and I think the next thing to be made is the landing gear, and that's really the last of it. So once that's deckled, the landing gear is made, it's all put on, boom, that's it should be done. So yeah, we'll call this part 4. I didn't know whether you wanted to have a look at the gun, but that's the gun you get. Does come with some little holes in, but yeah, and then underside again. Still put a bit of a wash in the wheel wells, but other than that, and then that's where the APU is there. That's where it blows hot gases out on there, and then you got the inlet the other side. So yeah, all good stuff. Still, there she is. So yeah, that's a little query. So the nose ain't bad. The engine's same old. They're not deep enough in, but you could correct it if you wanted to. I'm not going to bother because I'm this far into it now. But other than that, she's an amazing kit. She's you know, she's what she is, and I personally think at the moment she's the best kit out there. If you want an A10, a modern A-10C, then that's the best kit out there. But we'll see what Great Wall Hobby has when theirs comes along. But for now, it's a taddy bye from me, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers, fellas.